Hi everybody. Tonight we're going to be talking about delivering a presentation. So one of the first things that you want to do is the overcoming anxiety step. To be able to do this, if you're prepared and you know your topic well and you want to practice, like that's one of the key things, is just to practice. That way you know that you've talked about the things, like you have thoroughly gone over the topic, you really know what you're going to say. And then you want to keep breathing. Sometimes I think whenever, even me personally, whenever you're getting ready to do a speech, or even just sometimes when you start it, you're just like, oh my gosh, kind of a pure panic phase. So if you just remember to keep breathing and to keep going, because sometimes, we stop when we stumble on a word, or, we're like, gosh, that didn't come out right, and you just kind of get hung up on it. But if you really just keep going, nobody's really going to notice it. It's like, are they really going to remember that one time that you fumbled on a word, or are they going to remember the overall topic that you gave? And then the next thing would be questions. Like, you want to know your information thoroughly. You want to know your audience and know what kind of questions your audience members are going to ask. If you know the information and know what they're going to ask you, you're prepared to answer those questions. You want to be prepared for anything. You never know what's going to come up, but you also want to be okay with not knowing the answer to everything. Sometimes, somebody will ask a really important question and you don't necessarily have the solution or the answer to it. And so it is okay to just say, hey, I'll get back with you later. I know, like for me at work sometimes, associates will ask me a question and it's something procedural, more in depth, involves like legals. And so on some of those things, they're like, hey, you know what? Let's just wait on this item for a minute. Let's suspend it, set it aside, and we'll get back to it. Let me get an answer for you, and then I'll get back to you. And so the key there would be your follow through. So you have to be able to follow through with it though. So if it is a question that you need to, after a presentation, if it's like you need to send an email on it or something to these members of your audience, then do that, so that way, that you, I'm trying to think of a good word, you're held accountable for it, and, and they'll really respect you if you do things like that. And then feedback. You always want to get feedback. Just think about, what did you get from this, and what could have been better? What should I work on? What would make this make more sense? Then we also know with social media that there's a lot of like tweeting and posts that are going on as you're giving speech. And if you can kind of get back, kind of see those posts, afterwards or whatever, and then answer those questions, or, if it's in the form of feedback of what didn't make sense, then maybe you can help clarify those types of things for, these audience members. So just be aware that, people are posting, and so sometimes they are messaging each other within the room, but just be aware of those, and, you can't let it distract you from your actual speech.